What is going on, guys? It is your boy the Patgo Gaming coming at you again with another video, and today we have a Zoro deck profile. And guys, let me tell you, in today's gameplays we play a DOFFY, we play an USOPP, and we play a BLACKBEARD, and we run all three of them out of town, into the dust, into the dirt, and it felt so nice. Like playing red decks now, it feels so simple. My brain just turns off and I just click attack, and then I magically win. I magically win every single time. So guys, I urge you to give this deck a try. The new 5-drop 6-cost Luffy is so strong with Zoro. It has Rush, and when attacking, give your leader or up to one of your characters one rested Dawn. And with this effect, combined with the Zoro leader effect, when he has a Dawn on him, all your characters gain 1000 power, is so strong. You get a free Dawn on your Zoro, and then your Luffy automatically becomes a 7k swing instead of a 6. So super strong. We're also playing the new ST21 Roronoa Zoro, 4-cost 5k. And Dawn X2, this character gains Rush, and on KO, you may play a red character with 6000 base power or below, other than Roronoa Zoro, from your hand. So this card is a really nice setup card if you're forced to go second, and they end up removing your Zoro, or just it's able to stick around. Being able to play one of your 5-drop Luffys or your other 5-drop Luffys, or maybe one of your USOPPs, is super strong, guys. And we're playing the red-haired pirates engine. One, for the Dedan searches, we want to be able to search our Utas, because 1-drop 2k attackers in this deck are so strong with the Zoro ability, and it also gives us access to search our Shanks, the Beckman, and the USOPP. And USOPP works really well with the Zoro ability. If your opponent KOs Zoro on their turn, you're able to play the USOPP for free, and you effectively become Whitebeard for the turn. So really strong with the deck, and that's why we're playing 4. And also the 1k comes in handy. We don't want to play any more dead cards than we're already playing. We're also playing 2 Divine Departures and our 2 Jambes in order to just push for game a little bit harder. But guys, we rush people out of town. I hope you stick around for the games. They are awesome. I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think of the list. Let me know what you would change, and if you try it, let me know how it goes for you. And with that being said, guys, please drop a like, subscribe, and let's get right into the games. Okay, guys, so getting right into game number 1 here, we're going to go up against the DOFFY. We open up with the Uta, we find the Beck, and we open up with another Uta and find the USOPP. So a really good start for us. These 1-drops will be able to be good attackers with our Zoro leader ability. So really nice here. He opens up with the Martial D Teach. He opens up with the Jinbei into the Boa. So honestly, the dream start for the DOFFY player. Like we're playing peak DOFFY here, and let's see what we're able to do against it. So here he's going to rearrange the top cards of his deck. He's swinging 7 at us. I think honestly we're not playing very many 2Ks in this deck. We're playing 8, I believe. We have 4 of the Makino and 4 Otamas. So really not many 2Ks. Like we don't want to be countering. We want to be using those cards for utility, because we're just going to be swinging at base, boys. We're going to be attacking our opponent and seeing what he can do about it. So here we're going to search with our Nami. We find the Zoro off the search. We're going to give 1 Dawn to our leader, and then we're thinking about what to do here. We're going to go ahead and play the Makino, give plus 3k to our Uta, swing 6 at the Jinbei, and then we're just going to go ahead and swing 7 at leader. And here, guys, he's ready at 3 cards, and this is kind of the disadvantage of playing this style of DOFFY. You go down in cards so quick, and your opponent is able to attack your characters very efficiently. So he does have 4 cards in hand, but he does have a nice board. So if he's able to use his DOFFY ability here, he's still going to be in a pretty good spot. He does end up Sengokuing, and let's see what he's able to find here. He still has the Boa on board, and for our next turn, guys, we have the new 5-drop Luffy available. We can play USOPP if we want to. We can play the Zoro as a setup play if we want to. So some good attacks, or good plays coming up for us. Here he plays the Buggy probably into his leader ability. He has the 3 Dawn up, so he's going to be able... He can also use the Teach ability if he wants to. But at this point, guys, he doesn't want to be trashing cards from his hand. He has only 3 cards left in hand. If he does use the Teach ability, he'll go down to 2, and he'll be able to play a character here. And he does end up using the Teach ability. I think DOFFY players can get a little bit greedy sometimes. Like there's really no reason to do that, in my opinion. But he does use the leader ability. He finds the Mihawk here. We do get the Jambe out of life. We're not able to trigger it, and then he swings 7 with his Boa. Honestly, guys, looking really grim here. He's had about as good of a start as he could. He's hit every DOFFY leader ability. He's gotten his Jinbeis. And yeah, guys, let's see what we're able to do against it. So once again, we play the 5-drop Luffy, which is what I believe to be one of the strongest new cards for Zoro. And like free 7k swing for 5 Dawn, and it establishes a nice board. We're able to use our Zoro ability super efficiently with the Uta here, swinging at the Teach. And then we're going to be able to attack into this Boa, just hoping he doesn't have a 2k here. If he doesn't have a 2k, we're in an awesome spot now. We have 6 cards in hand. He's down to 3. He does have a 1 life advantage, but we have the Luffy on board. He has just a couple of 1-drops, so we're looking really, really good here, guys. He's going to swing into our Uta. We're definitely not saving that. If he does swing into our Luffy, we'll consider it. We don't have any 2ks in hand, so it will be a little rough if he does swing like 7 into it and then use leader ability. We're looking pretty good. If we can keep this Luffy alive, we're looking really, really good. And if not, we have some really good follow-ups next turn. We have the Luffy and we have the Beckman. And then the following turn, maybe some Shanks action, maybe some Zoro action. So he does swing 7 into our leader. I think he should have gone for the Luffy there, but he probably just assumed we have a 2k. But little does he know we are not playing like any 2ks in this deck. So he swings at leader. We're going to go ahead and take that. He plays the Law out, bounces our Nami back to hand. Honestly, a horrible play. But we keep the Luffy on board. We keep the Luffy on board, and here we have the Beckman available, and we're going to be able to remove one of his characters. Beckman's really good into this matchup. He's able to really efficiently remove characters, and he's just a nice body to have on board. So once again, using the Luffy ability, giving our Dawn to Zoro, and then swinging for 7 or leader, slowly ticking down the DOFFY player. He was at 4, and we were at 2, but now we've kind of narrowed the gap, slowly establishing that board. We've developed the Luffy, we developed the Beckman, and now for our next turns, we have another Beckman. If he plays 1 or 2 characters, we're able to remove one, preferably the active one, and then take down the rested one that plays off of leader effect. So we're looking strong here, guys. Very, very strong. We also have the Shanks available. We have Nami available. We have Dan, Curly Dadan available. We have Jambei to go for game if we get to that point. So many options for us here. He plays this in Goku, probably looking for like a Jinbei or just a nice 4-drop play for him. He knows he's in a rough position here, and I don't think Doffys usually find themselves in this spot after starting off so strong. But that's what happens when you trash all of your cards to teach. I think he went a little bit crazy when he should have just been using the normal Doffy ability. He gets the Boa here using Boa ability, placing the top 3 cards to the top of his deck just to iron out those draws and be ready for future Doffy effects. Here he swung 8k at our Luffy, and one of the disadvantages of not playing so many 2ks is not being able to save the Luffy there. So if you do want to take out maybe like a USOPP or some other cards for 2ks, and he does end up putting us. But I'm working on a Doffy video currently, and honestly, the Doffy playing Pudding on a turn where they could be doing anything else is not the worst thing in the world, especially when you're playing a deck like Zoro, when you're able to rush so hard. If they want to play their Pudding, let them play it. Let them get their little bit of card advantage, because they've gotten so much card advantage, but they're also getting so much card disadvantage from the Teach. By discarding a card every turn, they're effectively kind of like evening out the playing field. And here we put him to 1, and if we draw Jambei, the game is just over. We also have the Luffy ability, and he drew us into some 2ks. So if we're able to protect the Luffy here, we're just able to go for game next turn, and there's nothing he can do about it. So for some reason, he swings 7 at us with his Teach. We decide just to counter out. He swings a 5 at us, and I think we just take it. I don't really know what he's doing here. If he doesn't put up a blocker, yeah, he had no counter in hand and just kind of conceded. He had a bunch of 1ks. He tries to rematch us, but we're done, boys. We are out. And next we have our game against USOPP. The USOPP here, I think, chose to go second. So it gives us our curve, which is really, really nice. We want to go 1, 3, 5, 7. 1 for our Searcher, 3 for our Zoro, 5 for our Luffys, and then 7 for our Beckman. And let's see if we're able to do that curve here. So he's doing his little searches. He's doing his Rebecca search, his Leo search. We're going to swing for 5. Then we're going to go ahead and play the Zoro and swing for another 5. And just get that pressure off right away, boys. So he's down to 3 life. He has a lot of cards in hand. And if we're not targeting his board, he's not able to use his Usopp ability. And if we're swinging big numbers, he's also not going to be able to use it. So here we're just going to protect our board. We want to put as much pressure on him as we can and make him freak out. We know Usopps don't have a brain because they're on autopilot 90% of the time and just do the same thing every single game. Sorry, Usopp players. I'm sorry. But that's the truth. Anyway, we swing 7 with our Luffy ability, giving our Dawn to Zoro. We're going to swing our 6 with our Zoro here, then swing one more 6. He's going to use his Frankie, I believe, as a blocker, and then it's going to play his Bartolomeo rested, and we're going to be able to swing at it with our Nami. So super awesome value out of our Zoro leader ability there, and our Luffy. That Luffy is really strong for this deck, guys. I encourage you to give it a try. I think it's that like little shot in the butt that Zoro needed. Here he swings a 2k at our Nami, letting that go 100% of the time. He swings 5 at our Zoro. We're going to go ahead and counter out of it because we want to make Usopp remove our stuff. Usopp doesn't... He kind of has to set up for his removal, but he does have the Zoro, and he's able to take out both of our characters with the Coliseum effect, being able to attack our characters with Rush. But here we're able to rebound, guys. Like we just swinging 7s at him again. Let's see what he does. If we put him to 1 here, the game is over. We are at 5 life, guys. We are at 5 freaking life, and he is at 0. He does have a lot of cards in hand, but we have, like, it really doesn't matter. If we draw Jambes, we have the 5-drop Luffy in hand currently, and if he can't deal with that, even if he can deal with it, he's going to give us 4 or 5 cards out of his hand, and then we're going to do it again the next turn, and it's just a game. We decided to just give him the Zoro here because we want to take some life. We're looking for Jambes, we're looking for more rush characters, just so he doesn't set up a really strong board and go for game all in one turn. We wanted to take that life and not protect our Zoro because we know he's probably going to put up some blockers, and in the end it's not going to matter very much. He has 7 cards in hand, 8 cards in hand, and we have 4, but he is at 0 life, guys. Here he sets up his wall of blockers, but against red it doesn't matter, and this is why we play this 5-drop Luffy, just so we can put him down and attack face, and there's nothing he can do about it. Just game, boys. Usopp dead. And next we're going into our Blackbeard game. So just tackling all of the demons of the format in one video back to back to back feels really nice. I mean, I put the Zoro deck together, and the first games I played with it were these games. Like, I didn't practice with this deck. This is just how easy this deck can be, just hitting face over and over again. Because people don't know how to play against it anymore. This kind of deck isn't very common. And by playing this Zoro, you're going to catch so many people off guard. I promise you. So here we're going up against the Blackbeard, and we have a really good start again. We have the Zoro on turn 2, but he's going to go ahead and remove it with his Stronger and his Doc Q. But honestly, when Blackbeard removes your stuff, it's fine. Like, he's 2 for 1-ing himself, and he has to use his leader ability. And so he's going to run out of cards, guys, and that's completely fine with us. Here we're deciding whether to play the Luffys or the Zoros. We decide to go for a kind of a setup turn and play the 4-drop Zoro from ST21. And if he does KO it, we're able to play our Luffy or our other Luffy. So we're in a good spot regardless, and if he doesn't KO it, we'll just swing big next turn. Really big. We can go maybe like a 7k with the Zoro, a 7k with the Luffy, and a 6k with our leader. So a really strong turn coming up for us regardless of what he does here, and does end up KOing it. And we're just going to play our Luffy. I mean, that's why we played the Zoro. We didn't get that rush value out of it, but we're able to get this on KO effect out of it. He does find a lot of Doc Qs here, which is why we're not taking a lot of life off of him. He's still sitting relatively healthy because we've been having to attack these Doc Qs. We draw another 5-drop Luffy, and we're going to have a good turn here regardless of what he does. We're going to swing 6 at the Doc Q. We're going to play the 5-drop Luffy, use his effect, and we're going to swing 2 8Ks, I believe, here. So really strong. Get him down to 3 life, assuming he doesn't want to counter out of 2 8Ks. Luffy ability, give the other Dawn to the other 5-drop Luffy. And let's see, boys. Yeah, he's going to counter out a 1, gives us 2 cards, and then we get him down to 4 life. So here we're looking really strong. We have a bunch of 2Ks to defend our board, and we have 2 more rush characters in hand. So we're going to continuously put on this pressure, and as long as he doesn't completely clear our board here, okay. Like, as I was saying, is he cleared our board immediately, but we have so much follow-up. We just keep drawing these rushes because we're playing so many in the deck. We're going to be able to swing 7 at the Teach. We're going to swing for 6, and then we're going to play the Zoro out. And once again, we're just setting up again, and there's nothing he can do about it. Like, he is at 10 Dawn here, and if he plays his Teach, which would be an okay play, we just keep attacking him the next turn with our other 5-drop Luffy. We swing 7s, and he has to give us 2 cards or block with his Teach, and then it's just a never-ending cycle. And once again, he's able to remove both of our characters That's why the Zoro is so good. We're able to play our Luffy from hand here and immediately recover. And if we draw something off the top here, we're going to be in such a strong spot, like a rush character or just anything that can give us a good play besides these 2Ks. And there is the freaking Shanks, boys. We top deck the Shanks out of nowhere, setting us up perfectly. So here we just swing 5, we swing 6, and then we're going to play the Shanks, and he's going to go down to 0. And once you get them down to 0, it's pretty much game, guys. You're almost always going to find the Luffys or the Janbeis, or you're going to find a Nami to search for one of them. So once you get down to 0, the game is relatively over. There's nothing much they can do. Even if he plays a 10-drop teach here and makes our Shanks not attack, he has to deal with the Luffy and maybe the Janbei if we find that off of a Nami search. It's just a horrible spot for the Blackbeard. The game is over in a couple of minutes, and he had a pretty good start. Like, he found his dot Qs, he had the Hachinisu, he found multiple of his 1-drop searcher, and it did not matter. We're still at 3 life, sitting relatively healthy. He's at 6 cards in hand. Like, he doesn't have that many cards, and he plays 2 blockers, and it's just game here, boys. We can just swing with Luffy and call it a day, unless he's able to remove it somehow. But we do have 2 2Ks in hand, and we're just going to counter out completely. And even if we weren't able to counter out, we would have just swung with Shanks, swung with Leader, and used our Uta. And it was over regardless. But anyway, guys, that is 3 of the top decks in the format. Down. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. On to the post game. So you made it to the end of another one of my videos, eh? I guess you enjoyed the list, huh? I guess you liked what you saw. I guess you probably should subscribe, eh? Honestly, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the Zoro list. Like, I made this deck and then I played the first 3 or 4 games with it, and this was it. Like, this deck doesn't take any practice. It doesn't take any thought. So if you want to turn off your brain, win some games, and force your opponent to be very angry, try this deck out. Let me know what you think. And yeah, guys, hope you have a good night. Don't forget to like, subscribe. See ya.